Hello out there, YouTube viewers. Today I'm going to be sharing with you my top 10 list of favorite movies of all time. And starting with number 10, I have Sweeney Todd. This is actually a two-disc double feature. Sweeney Todd over here is my top 10 on my list of favorite movies. And basically, it's a movie created by Tim Burton, and it stars Johnny Depp, so that pretty much says enough. Number 9 on my list is The Prestige, starring Christian Bale. This movie is about two feuding magicians that compete, and they perform these dynamic magic acts. Both of them are trying to kind of create the perfect illusion. So that's pretty much what that's about. It's a very awesome movie and a very awesome cast. Number 8 on my list is Now You See Me. Now You See Me. It's a movie. Basically, it starts, there are these 4 street musicians that are kind of like con artists, and they kind of get gathered together in kind of like a secret society, like Four Horsemen style, like way, and they take the world by storm with all of their magic acts and shows that they perform, including one, which is basically what the movie's based on. The magic trick they do is that they actually remove money from a vault inside of a bank that's like 2,000 or more. It's like in another country while they're actually on stage performing. So it's pretty awesome. I definitely recommend you check it out. I believe there is, I haven't seen it yet, but there's a Now You See Me 2 out. I'm not sure if it stars the same actors. I need to look that up, but in any case, this is my number 8 favorite movie. Number 7, The Craft. This movie is about 4 girls that get together in high school and basically practice witchcraft, and from there, all hell just breaks loose. So it's pretty much what that movie's about, and it is my number 7 favorite movie. And number 6, Final Destination. This movie is, it's a little bit, I guess you could say, it could be on the verge of being creepy, depending on how you look at it. It's basically based on a theory that there's a design to death, or the way that people die, in a sense, and I believe it's actually called Death's Design in the movie. And so for the most part, it is this kid, he gets on an aircraft with, I believe, a bunch of other of his classmates, and he falls asleep and has kind of a premonition. And his premonition is that the entire aircraft is going to go down and everyone on the plane is going to die. And he sees exactly how it's going to happen. So when he wakes up and realizes it's a dream, it's kind of startling. In any case, he screams running from the plane, and some people follow him, some people don't. Of course, the plane does go down. He is not on the plane because of his actions based on the premonition he had. But after he actually saves his own life and some of the other of his classmates that follow him, they all begin to die in the same order that they die in the premonition that he had. So it's really eerie. It is I will say a little bit on the creepy side, but it's definitely what's worth watching if you haven't seen it before. Final Destination, and this is actually, I want to say there's at least 2 or 3 more of these, which they're all pretty good. This is definitely the best, though. Definitely worth seeing. And number 5 is The Lost Boys. This is by far the best vampire movie out of every movie, television show ever made. Not to say that it's the most detailed or the most, I guess, Interview with the Vampire is another one of my favorites. I'd say that probably kind of pulls everything in, but this movie, it's just awesome. It was made back in the 80s. It's an awesome movie. It's an awesome soundtrack, and I watched it over and over and over as a kid, and I still watch it as an adult. It's definitely worth seeing. The Lost Boys. Lost Boys. Number 4 is the Twilight Zone. This is a modern day movie based on the old television shows. They ran about 150 episodes of the original Twilight Zone, and I actually saved on my screensaver a screenshot of the old one. This, if you remember, it's somewhat similar to this new cover right here, but in any case, it says, "You have just crossed over into the Twilight Zone." It's a very eerie movie. I'm sure everyone's seen at least one episode of this at some point in time. The older episodes, of course, are in black and white. This one's in color. It is definitely worth seeing if you're at all into any of the other Twilight Zone movies, the earlier ones, and you have not seen Twilight Zone, the movie. I definitely recommend you check that out. Number 3, Harry Potter Goblet of Fire. Harry Potter is just, it's just by far one of my favorite movies, period. Like, the entire collection is of my favorite movies, but this one is my number 1 of all of the Harry Potter movies. I can't really explain it. Well, I could, but it'd probably take a lot longer than I plan to be filming this video. In any case, I'm sure everyone's already familiar with the whole plot behind Harry Potter and the whole series of novels that it's based on, are mostly familiar anyway. And it's Harry Potter and all of his wizardry glory. And if you have not seen Harry Potter, even if you aren't into wizards or Harry Potter, I would at least check out one. Just at least one. But that's just my opinion. Number 2, Idle Hands. Idle Hands. This movie is not only my favorite because it's a Halloween movie, and Halloween is by far my favorite holiday. I feel like my whole life probably revolves around Halloween. Like, every day is kind of Halloween for me. But this movie actually takes place on Halloween Day. And the other reason that it is one of my favorite movies, in a meaningful sort of sense, is because the phrase idle hands there's 2 different ways. Some people say idle hands are the devil's playground, or some people say maybe idle time is the devil's play toy, something to that effect. That's one of my favorite quotes. We all have our, things that kind of stick with us, I guess, kind of mantras in a sense. But in any case, this movie, like I said, it takes place on Halloween Day, which is definitely a plus. And it's basically about this kid right here. He's kind of like, he's like one of those teenagers. He's not really too much in school, or, he just like kind of sits around watching TV, eating, smoking pot, things like that. And all of a sudden what happens is, just in line with that whole, thing of idle time being the devil's playground, he somehow gets possessed by a demon that takes control of his hand. Now, his body, his mind, everything else is in normal, like, I guess, for the most part, the way it was. But this hand is just out of control, has a mind of its own, and it just does crazy stuff. So, it's a really awesome movie. It's really good. It's definitely one of my favorite. Number 2 on my list. Check it out. Number 1, Brain Scan. I have watched this movie so many times since I saw it in the theater over 20 years ago. Edward Furlong was one of my favorite actors as a kid. I haven't really seen him in a whole lot in the past several years, actually. But that's one of the reasons I like this movie. Another reason is it's somewhat of a, you could kind of classify it as a horror movie. It's not in some parts I could see how it could be related to as a horror movie. That's another reason that it is my favorite. But it's basically about this kid. He's played by Edward Furlong, and his mother dies in a plane crash. In a car accident when he's really young. He's actually in the car with her, so he sees her die. After that, he becomes somewhat obsessed with horror movies and horror and death and darkness and so forth and so on. Well, what he pretty much does with his time is he kind of just sits around watching horror movies and playing video games. It's just basically what he does. His father kind of works a lot. So in any case, he picks up this video game, and it promises or threatens to be really, really intense and really interactive, and take caution before you play it, and blah, blah, blah. And of course, he's played a million video games. He's like, oh, whatever, I'll just play it anyway. He puts this thing in, and next thing he knows, it's over. He's like, oh, well, that was intense. Oh my gosh, yes, I want to play that again. I'll play it tomorrow, whatever. Well, the next day he goes to play it. It just kind of, he ends up just like not really realizing how far the game has taken him, basically. And I don't want to give too much more away than that, but every day that he plays it, so to speak, he gets deeper and deeper and deeper into it until almost the video game is taking control of him. But it has a super surprise ending, and usually a lot of times I don't find a lot of rewatchability in movies that have surprise endings that that are too much like that. But this one, each and every time I watch it, and it's been several hundred times probably, I enjoy it. It's entertaining. Check it out. That is my top 10 list of movies that I have here today. If you liked hearing about my movies and you'd like to hear me talk about other movies, please just give this video a like, and I will continue to upload more. And of course, subscribe to my channel if you would like to be notified the next time I upload a video. Before I end this video completely, I want to give an honorable mention out to one movie that is also in the somewhat supernatural category, and it is The Maze Runner. The Maze Runner is a series of novels, actually, and it's somewhat like you might refer to as Harry Potter. This movie is not about wizards or anything, but it is a series of novels that these movies are based on, and I want to say there are at least 2, possibly 3, or 3 is on the way. And the cool thing about this movie, first off, it stars the guy that played in Teen Wolf. Dylan O'Brien, which I watch Teen Wolf all the time. The second thing is, what makes this movie so cool is he is literally running the entire movie, and that is super awesome. It's almost inspirational. So, that is my list of favorite supernatural movies of all times. And if you have any of your own, feel free to leave a comment in the comment section and let me know. Or if there are any other movies that you would like to see me discuss, or any other topics you'd like to see me discuss, please put it in the comment section. See you next time.